Hello guys, so this week I watched more movies than I expected and I'm gonna talk about them now. Okay, I watched 3 from Hell by Rob Zombie. This is Rob Zombie's sequel to his 2005 movie The Devil's Rejects, which is itself a sequel to House of 1000 Corpses. While I've never seen Rob Zombie as a particularly talented filmmaker, I do appreciate his love and respect for the horror genre, and I actually think that The Devil's Rejects is a fairly well made and effective movie. 3 from Hell, however, delves too deep into some of the director's already familiar storytelling devices and feels generic and unnecessary most of the time. The first half an hour or so is filmed through vintage filters in order to make it look like some sort of documentary, and uses fake news reports and interviews to take the idea further. But most of this footage is kind of pointless and only exists as fan service. And if you're not aware of the previous films, there's no way you will care about this bunch of ugly people. Plus the movie takes this much to actually take off, and it's truly difficult to sit through the rest of the movie with Sherry Moon Zombie's awful overacting, and this guy whom we've never heard about. At the end, the movie turns into some sort of Robert Rodriguez western and feels like a completely different movie. There are a few moments of excitement and fun dark comedy, but overall it's a weak film compared to its predecessors, and that's saying a lot. 4 out of 10. Crawl by Alexandre Aja. A simple yet entertaining movie about a girl and her strange father who must survive a group of deadly alligators in the middle of a heavy storm. I really respect the writer's decision about making this an alligator movie after so many terrible shark movies. But Crawl can't help but seem too familiar anyway. The plot nonetheless is fast-paced and the movie is short, plus the camera work and special effects are sometimes very nice to look at. The movie would have done better without all the forced sentimentality, but fortunately it is brief and quickly moves on to the next action-packed scene. I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Andre Overdahl. The truth is I haven't read the book, but as an independent work, and that's how everyone should take films, it does not follow very well. So apparently there are many different short stories that, at least in the movie, are connected by a main plot, but I felt as if the movie would have been much more interesting as an anthology. And that's because the events of the short stories happen so fast that they lack any real relevance. Also, the book has got these creepy illustrations that work really well on paper, but the CGI models, especially this twisty guy, look so lame and fake that they hurt to look at. And the resolution to the main story is so cheap. It reminds me of that Scary Movie 3 scene where they're trying to convince Samara that she isn't really evil. Give me a break. 3 out of 10. The Lion King by Jon Favreau. Ew. I've always said there's a reason animated films were conceived in that format. All the magic and personality of the characters and sets are only possible through animation. And I don't think Disney doesn't realize this, it's just that they don't give a fuck. That's why they won't stop making those awful remakes, cause people will still pay for watching them. No, I didn't pay for this. What you gonna do about it? So that's what makes The Lion King one of the most pointless movies in history. So you see all of these plain, expressionless animals that actually look quite uncanny when they speak, because there's no way a real lion will move its mouth like this. Besides, the voice acting is so linear and boring it sounds like an early 2000s video game. And what's wrong with the music? The production and arrangements are so bad and boring you can barely listen to any of the instrumentation. But the only thing that saves this from being a complete failure is that it usually looks very good, especially the real photography of landscapes. Because let's be honest, a bunch of CGI animals is not live action. Still, I expect that David Attenborough narrating the film at any second.
Lions are mostly active at night and seldom roar during the day.
Something else. Why the hell did they start singing In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle if they live in the f***ing savannah? It doesn't make any sense, God. 2 out of 10. And I also watched El Camino. Oh, sorry, I mean El Camino by Vince Gilligan. This is a follow-up to the Breaking Bad series, and what can I say? It's a very good one. I've always admired the series' understanding of cinematic language as a means for storytelling, and I'm glad to see El Camino lives up to the lush and tense presentation of its source material. The movie focuses on the character of Jesse Pinkman immediately after the events of Breaking Bad. It is a devastating character study of the already complex development Jesse had along the series, and Aaron Paul's performance is probably the strongest he's ever given. Such a shame that an actor this talented hasn't been fully exploited by other filmmakers yet, but I really hope this finally convinces somebody about his great potential. The only problem I see with El Camino is that it's impossible to see it and care about it without having previously seen the series. Hell, at times I was wondering who this guy was and what this all meant. Yeah, more than a film, I'd say it's another great and longer than usual episode that, nevertheless, deserves to be seen. By the way, 2 small rants. Couldn't they hire a language assistant for this? I mean, how could they f*** this up so badly? And was it that hard to make Jesse Plemons lose some weight before shooting? It really threw me off, and it took quite a while for me to get used to it. Well, whatever, 7 out of 10.